Seahawks Today coming up in just a few moments. But before we get to today's show, we want to let you guys comment on DK Metcalf. Let your voice be heard. If you want to see him remain a member of the Seattle Seahawks, here's your chance to do so. Type DK if you would like to see DK Metcalf stay with the Seahawks. Let us know by typing DK in the comments below. Let's get started. Breaking news off the top of today's show as Geno Smith is returning to the Seattle Seahawks. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. We'll have more on that in just a moment. Also, we will look at the top draft targets for the Seattle Seahawks as the 2022 NFL Draft is just a couple of weeks away. But let's go ahead and get to that breaking news, courtesy of Jordan Schultz, as he tweeted out this morning. Breaking news, free agent quarterback Geno Smith is re-signing with the Seahawks, per source. Smith, 31, started 3 games for the Seahawks last season while compiling a career-high 103 passer rating with 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. Now, this news is not surprising at all that Geno is coming back to Seattle. We heard from Pete Carroll at the NFL owner meetings just a couple of weeks ago say that he wanted Geno Smith back, that the negotiation was taking a little bit longer than they expected to, but that was something that he wanted to get done, that he wanted a quarterback competition this fall. Drew Lock already there. Now a competition looks to be in place with Smith and Lock for the time being. How about you guys? What's your one-word reaction to Geno Smith returning to the Seattle Seahawks? My one word is expected. This is not something that moves the needle. Geno Smith is not going to be the difference in the Seahawks winning football games in 2022, but nonetheless, it is something that provides some stability to that backup quarterback position. I think anyone would be very pleased if Geno Smith is their number 2 quarterback on their roster, but certainly not a starting caliber quarterback in this league. All right, let's go ahead and shift gears now and look at the draft targets for the Seahawks as they hold that number 9 pick. And we begin with Evan Neal, the offensive tackle from the University of Alabama. Terrific player, only allowed 24 pressures over the last 2 seasons, playing both the left and right tackle spot. And he's known as one of the most imposing specimens to ever grace the planet Earth. We're not joking when we say that. He is a hog molly to every sense of the word with that 6'7" frame. Now, throughout the show today, our friends at the Draft Network have put together scouting reports on the individual players that will evaluate for the Seahawks today. Let's look at their report on Evan Neal here. Neal uses his massive frame and power to move defenders off the line of scrimmage when run blocking. Neal excels at playing in a phone booth and uses his weight to wear defenders down. In his pass sets, he uses his body mass and length to force defenders to run around him and out of the way of the quarterback. Strong words there, as you can see, of what they have to say about Evan Neal. Here's more. This year, Neal made the transition from right tackle to left tackle, which seems to be a successful one, and one that seems more natural for him. He uses his natural awareness to take away the inside move for defenders and force them around him. So, as you can see, they used about every hyperbole to talk about Evan Neal, and he lives up to it with what he was able to do in the SEC and for Alabama. Won a national championship a year ago. A terrific player. Evan Neal would be a really good pickup for the Seahawks if they fall to him there at 9. Now, we will have more on the draft prospects in a moment, but before we do, speaking of the NFL Draft, live coverage of the NFL Draft is right here from Chat Sports. All 3 days, April 28th through 30th, all 7 rounds covered here on YouTube and Rumble. The easiest way to watch it, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We'll have the draft picks before they're announced on television. So you don't have to wait for Roger Goodell in his goofy love seat or whatever he's in to announce those picks. You'll get them right here, the full breakdowns, none of those interviews or that. We'll talk about every player on draft night, all 3 days, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Another name to watch for the Seahawks is Charles Cross. Charles Cross, just a few weeks ago, was on everyone's draft board for the Seahawks to pick at number 9. Now there's been some changes over the last couple of days, but certainly a guy to keep an eye on in Charles Cross. 2-year starter, only allowed 16 pressures on 719 pass blocking snaps last season. Mike Leach loves to throw the football, and he was certainly tested there in the SEC. And if Dwayne Brown's not back, this is a guy that would start day one for the Seattle Seahawks. Here's the scouting report on Cross. Cross is an exceptional athlete with a great initial first step that makes it difficult for edge rushers to beat him around the edge. He is a fluid athlete in the open field, making it easy to redirect and match defenders' counter moves. In the NFL, Cross's best position will be as a left tackle who can athletically match up with some of his best edge rushers in the NFL. Now, here's the deal. At the end of the day, whether it's Neal or Cross, I think those are safe picks for the Seahawks here. You need a left tackle. Both these guys have potential and can do everything that is asked of them at that left tackle spot. Some of the other players that we look at are not a sure bet by any stretch, but I think these two guys, either left tackle, whichever one's available, is a safe pick for Seattle here. I prefer Evan Neal over Charles Cross, but I don't think you can go wrong with either player at that spot. A safe pick, not a sexy pick, if the Seahawks end up with either one of these left tackles at number 9. Nonstop Seahawks coverage can be found right here on Seahawks Today. And the easiest way to be a part of our family is to subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Turn those notifications on, and we would love to hear from you. And we did a little shout-out, by the way. We asked if you've been subscribed for a period of time, and the OGs, they rised up, whether it was Robert or Redberg, Stover, Craig, Waze. These are some of the people that have been subscribed to the channel for a long time. I'm the new guy here. I'm still getting acclimated to how we do things here at Chat Sports, but these people have been here from the beginning, and we want to thank them for being a part of our coverage here on Seahawks Today. And who knows, maybe if you become a subscriber, we'll mention you next. Seahawks Today here on Chat Sports. Become a subscriber. You'll be glad you did. Let's continue now looking at Sauce Gardner, the star cornerback from Cincinnati. And he was a first-team All-American this past season, the American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and did not allow a single receiving touchdown his entire career. Shut down corner to a T, folks. We're not kidding on that. And the scouting report on him, it does not disappoint either. Gardner is a long and athletic corner that can function in a variety of coverage techniques, but his best work comes in zone and press coverage. He is a feisty competitor with excellent coverage instincts and has above-average ball skills. When it comes to areas of concern at the next level, there can be some drag-down tendencies as a tackler. His high hips, his ability to trigger and drive downhill, he needs to trust his athleticism more and not be so grabby in coverage. Gardner has the makeup of an NFL starter that could claim that role in year 2, if not year 1. Now, look, it's not anything new, a cornerback that maybe doesn't like to tackle, but don't let that waver from the idea of drafting Sauce Gardner here. He's the best cornerback in this draft, and for Seahawk fans, I think you would be very glad to know that, to me, he reminds me of the Seahawk great Richard Sherman. He looks like a carbon copy, the second coming of Richard Sherman. And that Seahawks defense, since the days of the Legion of Boom, have been looking for that resurgence of some sorts. And I think that Gardner could be that guy, could be the standard bearer to bring back this Seahawks defense to the way that it was a few years ago. He could be a good pickup for the Seahawks there at number 9 potentially. Now, speaking of Sauce Gardner, we want you guys to weigh in. What's your favorite sauce? Is it Tabasco? Is it Louisiana? Maybe it's another sauce. Let's let you chime in. Tell us your thoughts. Type T for Tabasco, type L for Louisiana, and let us know which one you like. Which one would you like to see Sauce Gardner consume? Tabasco, Louisiana, let us know in the comments below. Continuing on, a couple more players for you. Let's talk about Malik Willis now, the quarterback out of Liberty, and he led Liberty to their first ever FBS top 25 ranking, and a true dual-threat quarterback, had a lot of 100-yard games in his career at Liberty, and the thing for me that I'm concerned about is his passing ability, because the interception number at 12 was still relatively high considering the competition there that he played against at Liberty. But here's the scouting report on him, according to the Draft Network. Willis is the most physically gifted quarterback prospect in the 2022 NFL Draft, bar none. But his performance on the field in 2021 took a bit of a step back from a ball security standpoint, and Willis played in an environment that the Flames that created some challenges. Willis often failed to get help from his receivers on throws that challenged their catch radius, but Willis too often asked them to win outside their frame. Liberty failed to afford Willis with easy completions on too many instances. But then again, Willis at times took them in favor of extending plays with his legs. Look, Malik Willis, a lot of potential, but I think this is still a project. This is not a guy that I think is going to jump out of the gates and take Seattle to the playoffs and win Rookie of the Year like that. It would take time for Malik Willis to adapt and adjust to the way things are done in the National Football League. He could be a very good quarterback potentially, but this is not a quick fix, not a quick solution to get him to play at a Pro Bowl level in the NFL by any stretch of the imagination. Now, we'll have one more name for you in just a moment, but before we get to that, we want to make sure that not only are you subscribed to our channel, but you're also interacting with our community tab. We got a question up right now asking you guys if you could have a Starbucks coffee with any Seahawk, past or present, who would it be and why? A lot of options out there. Marshawn Lynch seems like an easy choice. Maybe somebody like Matt Hasselbeck potentially. He's an interesting guy. Or DK Metcalf. You got to have the decaf with DK, right? You know, decaf Metcalf. Whoever it is, tell us, why would you want to have coffee with them? Let us know in the link below, youtube.com/SeahawksTV, or you can just drop us a comment here on YouTube as well. Either way, and let us know, who would you like to have coffee with of the Seahawks if you had the chance to do so? Last name, Travon Walker, edge rusher from Georgia. Led Georgia last year in quarterback hurries, 36. Started all 15 games, including winning the College Football Playoff National Championship this year at Georgia. Versatile defensive lineman, somebody that I think is primarily an edge, but potentially could play up front in that D-tackle spot. So some versatility there with Walker. The report on him, here is what Draft Network said. Walker has outstanding size and length for the position and pairs those attributes together with rare athleticism. As a pass rusher, Walker displays rare get-off and explosion off the snap. He can easily win edges and shoot through gaps with his explosive and quick twitch movements. He flashes very good at the point of attack. So strong words there from Draft Network on Travon Walker. And, you know, Travon Walker has risen up boards a lot over the last couple of weeks. And, you know, Seattle has so many needs. I don't know if you're necessarily going to get Walker when you have those other good players that we mentioned there that I think are a higher priority. But nonetheless, edge has to be addressed early for the Seahawks in this draft. Whether it's day one, day two, you can't go any further than those 2 days without getting an edge rusher. Travon Walker would be a good find there with that number 9 pick potentially, but at some point early in this draft, got to bring an edge rusher to Seattle.